As the footsteps seemed to stop just outside the tent entrance, the zipper slowly began to open. As I fumbled with the switches, I heard a whisper over my shoulder.
Don't.
I watched, frozen in fear as a figure slowly lifted its head. Paranormal Short Stories, Volume 3. Driving home late from work, my car suddenly died on a secluded road. My phone battery dead too. Alone in the darkness, a thick fog rolled in, obscuring my view. Then, footsteps approached, slow and deliberate. Panic set in, the fear of death or something unknown gripping me. I locked the door, then waited, heart pounding. The footsteps circled the car. Then, just as suddenly, vanished. When the fog lifted, I saw nothing but the empty road. The car started again, but the fear of what might have been out there stayed with me. I was home alone when the power went out during the storm. Using only the flashlight from my dying phone, I checked the fuse box in the basement. As I fumbled with the switches, I heard a whisper over my shoulder.
Don't.
I turned around, but there was nothing. Rushing back upstairs, the power returned. But the fear of what lurked in the darkness, unseen and possibly malevolent, made me dread every sound in the house that night. Working late at the office, I decided to take the stairs to get some exercise. Halfway down, the lights flickered and went out, plunging the stairwell into darkness. My heart raced as I considered a possibility of being trapped, or worse, not alone. I heard a soft, dragging sound coming from a few floors below, moving upwards. I stumbled blindly in the dark, trying to get to the door to the next floor. When I finally burst into the lit hallway, I didn't look back. But the sound of something reaching the floor I'd just left haunted me for weeks. During a solo camping trip in a remote forest, I woke up in the middle of the night to find my tent surrounded by a dense, impenetrable fog. My phone had no signal, and my flashlight barely pierced the darkness. Then, I heard footsteps outside, circling the tent. I clutched my knife, the only protection I had. As the footsteps seemed to stop just outside the tent entrance, the zipper slowly began to open. I screamed and lunged forward, but found nothing there. The footsteps had vanished, leaving me to question what was more terrifying: the known threats of the wild or the unseen horrors of the night. On a routine flight, I glanced out the window to see another plane unnervingly close, its windows dark. I alerted the flight attendant, but when she looked, her face went pale. There was no other flight scheduled on our path. The captain announced turbulence, advising everyone to buckle up. As the lights flickered, I looked again. The plane was still there, but now I could see figures in the windows, staring back. Their expressions twisted in horror. The fear of an impending collision gripped me. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished into the clouds. The rest of the flight was uneventful, but the fear of what I saw lingered long after we landed. Late one evening, while reviewing security footage from my store, I noticed a glitch on the screen. At exactly 3:03 a.m. each night, the camera would flicker, and for a brief moment, a figure could be seen standing at the back of the store. There was no entry or exit recorded. It simply appeared, then vanished when the cameras returned to normal. Initially, I thought it was a recording error, but the unease of not knowing who or what it was kept me awake at night. Deciding to uncover the truth, I stayed late, watching the cameras live. As 3:03 a.m. approached, the air grew cold, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Right on schedule, the cameras flickered, and the figure appeared. This time, however, it turned and looked directly at the camera, its eyes glowing faintly. The fear of this unknown entity, possibly aware of my presence, was overwhelming. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, it vanished, leaving me to question the reality of what I had just witnessed. While scrolling through social media late at night, I stumbled upon a live stream with no title or viewers, broadcasting from a dimly lit room that looked eerily like my own. The only difference was the shadowy figure sitting in the corner, head bowed. Curiosity piqued. I watched, frozen in fear as the figure slowly lifted its head, revealing two glowing eyes that seemed to stare right at me through the screen. The figure then whispered my name, a voice so clear it felt as if it was right beside me. Panicked, I slammed my laptop shut, but the whispering continued, echoing around my room. The fear of this unknown entity, capable of reaching out from the digital realm, kept me awake, dreading what it might do next. I had just moved into a smart apartment, where everything from the lights to the locks was controlled through an app. One night, while I was out, I received a notification on my phone. Front door unlocked. Alarmed, I checked the live feed from the apartment's security camera. The feed showed the interior dark and still, but as I watched, the lights began to flicker on and off. Then, the camera panned by itself, stopping at the hallway leading to my bedroom. The door, which I always kept closed, slowly creaked open, revealing a shadowy figure standing in the doorway. I watched, helpless, as the figure seemed to notice the camera and began moving towards it. Its movements unnaturally smooth. The feed cut out, leaving me staring at a loading screen. Rushing home, I found the door locked and everything seemingly untouched. But the unease of not knowing who or what I saw on the camera and how it controlled my smart home lingered long after. While working late at the office alone, I decided to print a document. As I waited by the printer, It suddenly sprang to life, churning out pages already filled with text. The first page read, "Don't look behind you." Confused and slightly amused, I turned around instinctively but saw nothing unusual. More pages followed, each with a warning, more urgent than the last. "It's closer than you think." My amusement turned to fear. I scanned the office, its familiar shadows now menacing. The printer stopped. Silence enveloped the room, punctuated only by the distant hum of the city. I gathered my things, ready to leave, when the lights flickered off. In the pitch black, I heard the unmistakable sound of something breathing just behind me. The fear of the unknown, of what lurked in the darkness, of the familiar office space, was overwhelming. I dashed for the door, daring not to look back, propelled by the primal fear of something unseen, but intensely felt. On a routine jog through the neighborhood, I decided to take a new route, through a recently developed section. The street was lined with modern homes, all seemingly empty. My fitness tracker vibrated, indicating a pause in my activity, though I hadn't stopped moving. Glancing at the screen, it showed my heart rate spiking, then dropping to 0. Confused, I tapped the device, trying to reset it, when I realized the silence around me was absolute. No birds, no wind, nothing. As I looked around, every house on the street had someone standing in the window, motionless, watching me. The moment I decided to turn back, my fitness tracker beeped loudly as the figures vanished. Running back the way I came, my tracker kept showing erratic readings, as if something was following me, matching my pace, but remaining unseen. The fear of what might be tracking me, visible only through the digital eyes of my fitness device, pushed me to run faster, not stopping until I was safely home, far from the silent, watchful street. Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories.